Welcome to the Family 3 group presentation, The Bennett Family Story, by Tammy, Thea, Amanjot, Carmina, and Sukhpal. Please meet the Bennett family. Marilyn is a single mom, 43 years old, who identifies as she, her. Her older son, Ashton, is 5 years old, who has high-functioning autism. Dylan, her younger son, is 3 years old and is newly diagnosed with GERD. Marilyn is newly divorced and learning to cope with her sons on her own and how to provide care for them. As of late, this has all been very overwhelming for Mom, and she's feeling depressed. Marilyn's extended family includes Sandy, her sister, and Pepe. Sandy is 38 years old and is a transgender woman, and Pepe is her partner who identifies as a male and is 37 years old. The Bennett family is a single-parent family. Marilyn and her ex-husband recently divorced, and she is new to taking care of her family alone. Marilyn and her sister Sandy immigrated from England to Canada in 2001. They lived in Kent, England, and decided to make the move for a better life. Sandy and Marilyn's parents, Kathleen and Edward, did not make the move with them and currently are still living in Kent, England. Marilyn speaks to her parents every week on the telephone. Kathleen and Edward have expressed that they are distraught that they're not able to offer more support to her and her children during this difficult time. Kathleen and Edward are hoping to be able to travel to Canada and stay for an extended period to support their family. This will be their first trip to Canada. Marilyn and her children belong to a Christian Orthodox church who follows some food restrictions. They are not allowed to eat fish, meat, milk, olive oil, and dairy products every Wednesday and Friday. As a family, they regularly attend church activities and do volunteer missions that are organized by church administrators. Her obligations from the church made their family relationship become stronger, and she has gained more friends. It is from the same religious group where Marilyn met the father of her children, who is an engineer. Marilyn is a school teacher and is currently on leave from work at this time due to family issues that are going on. At the start of married life, their financial status was more than enough to support their small family. However, they started to struggle from the time she got separated from her partner 3 years ago. Due to the present situation, her family belongs to the category of medium to low socioeconomic status. Because of this, she must pay weekly salary for the rent, daily expenses such as the electric bill, daycare, telephone, and medication for her 2 kids. The family currently rents a 2-bedroom apartment 30 minutes away from her work. The apartment has a floor space of 60 square meters located on the second floor of a very quiet street with a private yard. Inside, there's a spacious living room, good enough for 2 kids to play. Marilyn's sister, Sandy, is a police officer. Sandy has been a police officer for 10 years now with the Toronto Police Service and often works long hours. Pepe, who's 37 years old, Sandy's partner, is a firefighter. Pepe's shifts are 24 hours and require him to be away from home for a substantial period of time. With Sandy and Pepe living close by, it is ideal for support. However, at this time, their work has prevented them from being able to support Marilyn in a way that she needs right now. Marilyn is struggling and is susceptible to physical and psychological health issues because of the prolonged stress.
Ashton is a 5-year-old boy with high functioning autism. He is able to manage to do his activities of basic daily living, including personal grooming, eating, speaking, reading, and writing. However, with all the recent changes, Ashton has been exhibiting behaviors of resisting routine. Although he can communicate, Ashton finds it hard to understand social cues, making it difficult for him to make friends. Marilyn's other son, Dylan, is a 3-year-old boy who was newly diagnosed with GERD. Currently, Marilyn is experiencing caregiver burnout and she is feeling very overwhelmed, depressed, and exhausted. She is currently on leave from work and has limited financial resources. Often, Marilyn worries about food, which is a vital determinant of health. Marilyn is unsure where to get from support, and she is finding it difficult to keep up with home maintenance as she feels no energy. If she continues to face enormous stress, she will be at risk for developing serious illnesses, which can include anxiety, further decline in coping, immune system deterioration, diabetes, heart disease, maybe even high blood pressure, insomnia, and obesity. The focus of care should be preventing further health problems or complications while treating current family health issues. The nurse should develop a patient focused plan or goals that according to Marilyn's goals and achieve circumstances. All three members of the family need some support on their own, including for Marilyn as she is in dire need for help for home maintenance. Dylan had recently had an exacerbation of his GERD and was hospitalized, requiring adjustments to the medication regime and diet. Ashton, as of late, has been acting out with all the recent changes in the family dynamics, and he requires support for personal care and communicating his emotions, dealing with stress and coping as well. Marilyn's extended family and support include her sister Sandy and Pepe. However, Sandy and Pepe are only able to offer limited support due to the nature of their professions and their time spent away due to work. They would love to help some, and sometimes they contribute financially, and there are times that they take care of the children so Marilyn can have a break.
There are several key areas the family requires support in. First is GERD management of Dylan. With Dylan's new formal diagnosis of GERD, mom is going to need support in learning to care for Dylan and be able to recognize the signs and symptoms of worsening condition. Ashton has behavioral issues because of autism. With all the recent changes and events that occurred in his life, such as divorce and new family home, it has become apparent that further support is going to be needed to help him deal with the changes. Family process and coping is impaired, related to unresolved grief, feeling of hopelessness and guilt. Mom, Ashton, and Dylan are all dealing with the new reality of being a single parent home and learning to navigate the healthcare system in search of help and support. Furthermore, home maintenance is impaired because of financial crisis. Due to mom being overwhelmed and depressed, mom is currently off of work, which is further contributing to the stress and other pressures being felt. Family involvement is a key and critical to overall compliance with the plan of care. Furthermore, the nurse must ensure interprofessional collaboration with all the key members of healthcare team, as this has shown to improve patient outcomes in relation to reducing the risk factors of the family. Social workers can work to identify the family's strength and make recommendations. They can provide counseling in many areas. However, specific to this family, they would provide counseling on unemployment, mental health, childcare problems, and social adjustment, and make the necessary referral to other community resources. Dylan needs referral to GI specialist. They might give him therapies in the beginning, but it looks like he might need surgery to cure GERD. Family counseling or therapy is also important. Marilyn and her children are newly dealing with the change in the family dynamics because her and her husband are separated and divorcing.
Marilyn is feeling like she is failing her children and herself for not being able to look after them, their needs, the family home, and being on leave from work. Family therapy, therefore, would be beneficial to help both the children and Marilyn cope with these changes and new challenges they are facing. These challenges can be psychological, emotional, and/or behavioral. Being a single-parent family, Marilyn is dealing with depression, which if left untreated could result in other detrimental health outcomes, not only for her but for her children. Counseling will help with the depression and feelings of isolation. Additionally, individual therapy will also be of benefit.
Additionally, Aston is in need of individual therapy as he is struggling with the new changes in his home life and displaying negative behavior recently. He doesn't know how to express his feelings in a socially appropriate way. The counselor can support mom with developing antecedent-based strategies. These strategies are those that are used for prevention. They work by changing the environment and/or removing potential triggers from the environment using the ABI approach. Common within the approach is the use of the following. Number 1, using highly preferred activities or items to increase interest level. Number 2, changing the schedule or routine. Number 3, implementing pre-activity interventions like providing a warning about the next activity and providing information about schedule changes. Number 4, offering choices. Number 5, altering the manner in which instruction is provided. And lastly, number 6, enriching the environment so that learners with an autism spectrum disorder have access to sensory stimuli that serve the same function as the interfering behavior. Example, play to play with during class, and toys or objects that require motor manipulation. As a mother, Marilyn feels that she is a failure to herself and her children because not being able to fulfill her obligations, attend her children's needs, family's home, and being on leave from work is what makes her perceived disappointed. Being a single parent, Marilyn has to deal with different issues alone, which makes her highly susceptible for developing depression. Any untreated psychological issues could result in another detrimental health outcomes, not only for herself, but for her children as well. In connection to this, family therapy is seen to be helpful in guiding the entire family to cope with the changes and new challenges they have to face in the future. Counseling will help with the depression and feeling of isolation. Other resources required to support the family includes the family physician. He plays in keeping track of his patient's health. Regular health checkups provide best suitable referrals to the different healthcare professionals according to the patient's needs. Furthermore, the family support that Marilyn and her children needed most are the additional financial assistance and moral support from whom she considered another family member that can either be from a private or government institution. The option of providing an in-home family support can be beneficial for her to manage the crisis and enhance overall family function. The program provides short-term practical assistance to the family that is customized according to their needs, to empower them to reach goals that restore, support, and enhance family functioning, child development, parent-child relationship, and parental health. This program may generally bring back Marilyn's strength and confidence to self. The community support services is another resource that required for the family that is made up of not-for-profit agencies, either funded by the government or operated by private organizations that require a service fee. They are basically working to help their clients live independently in the community and striving to improve the quality of their life. When possible, also support their active participation in society. Their focus on promoting independent living are offered through the services on transportation, meals and nutrition, education and support, safety and reassurance, health and wellness, support in the home, intensive support programs, and adult day services. These resources can significantly help the family to have a well-organized daily routine and good working relationship with others.
Through continual support and reassessment, we can work to support this family in achieving their goals and to being on a path for a sustainable future as a happy and healthy family. Thank you for sharing in the Bennett family journey with us. When creating a family-specific care plan, it is important to know your family, to learn and assess their individual strengths and what resources for support they have available, and to identify their goals. Building a family-specific care plan requires in-depth knowledge of the level of connections with the resources they have. It is important to understand the psychological benefits of inclusion of the patient and their family in this process. Family inclusion is critical in managing and preventing disease and illness. We must always listen and ensure that they know we're working to help them meet their goals. As a healthcare worker, whether you're a social worker, a nurse, physician, or specialist in another field, we must work to strengthen the connections where possible. It is critical to identify the referrals and resources that are still required to support the family as they navigate their way through the healthcare system.